We've currently got a special offer live now on poodlecfb.com for the launch of College Football 26. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF 2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. You'll unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Join hundreds of members in the fastest-growing CFB 26 community out there. Don't miss out and sign up now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the greatest coach build in Dynasty mode. Now, before we get to the video, guys, if you haven't seen already, we are running a special over on poodlecfb.com for the launch of CFB 26. The code is KICKOFF. You use code KICKOFF, all caps, you will get $50 off the annual plan. And if you use code KICKOFF 2025, all caps, you get $5 off the monthly plan. Make sure to lock this deal in as soon as possible. It is a recurring membership. And the beauty of it is that you are grandfathered into this deal, so you will have this for the remainder of your lifetime over on poodlecfb.com, whether it be CFB 26, 27, 28, or for however long you choose to be there. Come join now so you can start learning about all the tools, calculators, spreadsheets, and everything else that we offer. Come join the fastest growing CFP community. We have hundreds of people in there, great minds, a lot of testing going on. You won't want to miss it, guys, but let's get into the video. So for any of you who watched me last year, you know that my greatest coach build was one of my best videos, probably on my channel. A lot of people loved it. We had a whole Discord chat of testing packages, going back and forth, seeing if they actually work. So for any of you guys who have played any game mode before, whether it be 2K, MLB, Madden, this Dynasty franchise, you know that there's some abilities that sound really good or packages that sound really good, but then they don't exactly work. So what poodlecfb.com over there in our Discord chat strive to do was to actually kind of A/B test a lot of these packages and see what actually works. There's some packages that we really liked earlier in the year that we found out didn't work, and that became a big thing for us to test. So I'm narrowing down my day one coach build. This is the greatest coach build for all you guys who are getting your Dynasty running and you want to go a certain way. Now, there are some caveats in this video, so make sure not to just like screenshot this and skip and go make it, because there are going to be some things that I'm going to lay out for you based on skill level, whether you're above average, great, not the best. There's a few things that do matter here when building this coach, as well as some point things and some point variables that I want to go through. So stay tuned throughout this. We have a lot to get through. So let's start off with the first thing you're doing, because there also is an order to this, right? Because remember, there are dynamic costs this year. So if you didn't know already, when building a coach build, you start off with one for free, and the next one's 10, and then your next base package is 30, and so on and so forth. So there are things that scale dynamically. So this does play a big role in the order in which you do these things. So when you come into the game, first thing you need to do is pick your coach. I recommend starting with Recruiter, although I'm not opposed to Motivator. Now, what changes here really is your active perk. With Motivator, you get extra levels when a player levels up. With Recruiter, you get extra levels or extra XP when you bring in a player with the recruiting phase. So for me personally, the only thing that matters is what do you want for your first season when you start buying these packages. For me, for Motivator, the first package here is okay. Interest boost for quarterback recruits, that's okay, but it might take you a few weeks to actually hit some skill caps when you first start rolling down. So for me, I can't really use that right off rip, while I will be able to at least get some benefit out of this, right? I'll get some benefit out of this. Quarterbacks take less time to fully scout, although I'm not opposed to either, because in theory, the Motivator route will actually allow you to still get some extra bonus interest during the weeks, so it doesn't hurt. But this one, at least I can pick a position group like offensive lineman or D lineman scout. But you guys will hear all this as we go through. So what I want to be doing here is, first and foremost, if I start off as Recruiter, you must reach level 10 to get to your next one. So it doesn't matter how many points you spend, but if you want to spend your points to go in, the only thing I'm doing in this first recruiting tier for my greatest coach build is going to be spying the first tier. I actually don't care much for tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. I think they will require some more testing, but let's start from the bottom. Tier 4, because that's what we're trying to see. How far do we want to work down? Increased chance to sway quarterbacks. I don't see myself swaying much. I see it could be a small school strategy, but swaying's like rolling the dice. I'd rather just build the best coach build and not have a problem with having to roll dice. Quarterback transfers are more interested. Transportal is huge this year. Definitely a big thing. But tier 3 it's kind of expensive to get down to tier 3, and I'm not sold on that package just yet. And where I really struggle is magnetic personality. This coaching package in CFP 25 didn't work that well, and there's other things that I'm actually more interested for a starting interest point. So for me to save points and get some of the other OP stuff I want, I am going to stay at tier 1 on Recruiter. Next, after that, I'm going to be purchasing the Motivator build, and I have my final calculator out to go through all this with you guys, but I already did the math. It all works, and I'll break it down at the end. So next, I'm going to Motivator. I'm buying this package. The Motivator package will cost you, I believe it is 10 points for your first one based on how they have it scaled. So for the first base is 0 that you come with, which is Recruiter, and then your second base is going to be 10, and that's how it keeps scaling. So when we get to Motivator, the next thing I'm doing in this order is going to be getting this to tier 3. Why tier 3? Because off-season training boosts are huge. That's something that's very important. That's one of the biggest upgrades you're going to get in college football in last year's game and in this game. So you want to get to tier 3. Again, you can go out of order, like I said, if you want. For these first two, you can start with Motivator, then go to Recruiter. But those are the first two that I'm starting with. Get to tier 3. Tier 4 is useless, and honestly, tier 2 is useless too for the most part. Like, I wouldn't spend points on it if I didn't have to, but you do have to. And remember, never touch kicker or punter for basically anything. Do not waste your points there. That is a huge waste of coach points, and we want to make sure that we don't waste any of it. So that's it there. Once you get done with that, you're focusing on 3 tiers here. That's going to be Talent Developer, Program Builder, and CEO. Now, keep in mind there are unlocked bonuses to how you get them. So you can't get them right away, but just getting Recruiter up and getting Motivator up is going to take a lot of time. So that is fine. The next thing is going to be Talent Developer or Elite Recruiter. Now, remember, there's unlock requirements for all this stuff, so you will have to kind of take that into consideration when seeing like what you're going to go next in this. Personally, I would probably go Talent Developer because it's probably going to be the quicker thing to go with, because Elite Recruiter is hard. As you guys know, Elite Recruiter requires 2 top 5 classes. So assuming you get their first 2 classes are top 5, that would still take you until season 3 to actually get it. But there also is the world where you don't get it till like season 4. So keep that in mind. But these are the next 2 I'm going. When buying these, at which point Elite Recruiter will cost you 30 points at this point because I unlocked Talent Developer already, or it'd be vice versa. Elite Recruiter will cost you 15 and then Talent Developer will cost you 30. The hybrid / master Elite Recruiter ones scale within 15. So that's going to be a point consideration as well. Things are a little bit more expensive, but you do go up to level 100, so not as big of a deal. So let's assume we're going to Talent Developer. For Talent Developer, what I'm going to be doing for now is just going tier 1 and tier 2. That's where I'm going to go with for my build, and stay to the end because there is going to be a world where this goes higher. So you're going to go tier 1 and tier 2. So pay it forward, QB, bonus XP for quarterbacks when they are drafted. If you don't remember, that was tier 1 in Motivator last year. They changed tier 1. It used to be that. So now that's actually a really good one that I love. So basically, if you have a quarterback that's 93 overall and he gets drafted, your freshman, sophomore, junior quarterbacks behind him get a big bonus XP boost, which was huge last year. And tier 2, freshman and sophomore players progress faster. I actually really like that. I always hated when I had a freshman, sophomore with Elite Dev that like didn't grow well, and then it was kind of like junior year and they got the big bump. You get 1 season with them. I know on the other side people may say, oh, well, they'll just leave faster. Well, in the other world, they're not good enough their freshman, sophomore year. I'm not playing them yet anyways, so kind of breaks even there. That's where I'm staying. I do like tier 3, starting quarterbacks will gain extra XP, and I do love tier 4, home sweet home, boost to pipeline bonus. But for the sake of the build, I'm going to tell you those 2 aren't included just yet. Then for Elite Recruiter, when you finally do unlock this, remember you may have to go a little out of order after Motivator Recruiter because it may take a while to unlock this, especially if you're a smaller school. You're going to be doing all 4 tiers. Tier 1, boost to ideal pitch grades. This was huge. I'm going to I know some of you may have played last year, but I do want to break some of the packages down. So boost to ideal pitch grades. Let's say you're pitching with an A+, across the board. You're going to get a huge bonus when you do a hard sell for a player because you're getting a boost to your ideal pitch grade. So those grades you see when recruiting on the right-hand side of the screen, those will get a boost because of this. Next is upsell QB. My school grades have a larger impact on QBs, so that's going to be similar to the ideal pitch grade. So the ideal pitch grade is going to be their hard sell, and then the my school grade just means as a whole they have a larger impact. Those are going to be like your A+ pro potential, A+ team prestige, all that stuff, right? Like all A+ campus lifestyle, all those things you get a boost on. Tier 3 recruiting actions have bigger impacts. That's huge. Basically means that everything you do just gets a bonus when recruiting. Love that. And tier 4, which honestly was one of the best packages last year, which I'm sad they moved it, increased weekly hours. So basically for most teams starting this year, you're going to only have 50 points when recruiting, which kind of stinks compared to last year. Last year we had like 75, 80, we were getting 65 quickly. You need to get to tier 4. That's how you're going to get up to 75, 80, 65, etc. recruiting points. So that's one of the hugest ones. I want to get there, and I'm happy with all the ones below it, because there was a world where if tier 2 and tier 3 were awful, I may have to reconsider going to tier 4, but I like them all, so I'm willing to go all the way in. So that's where we're at with that in terms of the build. Tier 4 Elite Recruiter could take some time, get all the way through. You're on 1 here. Now, assuming that we have all that done, let's go up to Program Builder and CEO. Program Builder, the only things I'm interested in are going to be these 2 lanes, but I am going to go all the way on them. So invest, upgrade your school's best 2 pipelines by 1 tier. I do find some more value in these when you're a school that's not Alabama or Georgia sometimes, but if you keep looking at the other packages, they still are great. So upgrade your school's 5 best pipelines. So let's just say LSU has 2 purple, or let's say, 2 purple pipelines, like East Texas and Louisiana. Let's just say, right? East Texas, Louisiana, but the other ones are blue. So by upgrading your best 2 pipelines by 1 tier, you're technically just touching the purple ones, but on the second one, upgrade your 5. All the blues after those will go up to 5. Then share the wealth. Upgrade your school's 5 worst pipelines. So all your bronze or your silver ones will go up to like bronze will go up to silver, and silver will go up to yellow, which are the 3s. That is huge. As we learned last year, pipelines are going to play a big role in some of the interest and your starting interest on players, but more importantly in this year's game, why does this become more powerful? Because your pipelines determine your visit cost. So a 5-star purple or level 5 purple pipeline is actually going to give you a 10-point visit, which is going to be kind of meta this year, getting down to 10-point visits. And then let's just say you want to get a few guys that are like in your pipelines but not 5, and they're great, and they're expensive visits. By upgrading your pipelines, your worst and your best, you're going to get closer to like the 10-15 point visit range versus the silver ones that may be at 35, or the bronze that may be at 35. So getting these up a bit will just save you recruiting hours, which is going to go a long way. So I want all of these upgraded at a cost of 48 for the total. And then for these here, strong roots, boost your primary pipeline. Same thing, boost starting interest for recruits from your primary pipeline. That's huge, because that means a lot of guys in Louisiana from LSU, let's say I was like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in that range of interest, I might boost all the way up to 1 on these players. And where that kind of coincides with is first getting insta recruits or buying Dream School from CEO package and getting insta recruits. So those are going to kind of go in tandem, which we'll see later in the video. And then we have hometown discount. Recruits from your primary pipeline gain extra influence boost. So if my primary pipeline is Louisiana, first I'm starting top on their list because I have these packages. I'm getting extra starting interest. On top of that, I'm getting 10-point visits, and I'm getting a influence boost. That means my visits will be more powerful. My elite recruiter extra hours will be more powerful. This all stacks together. This is going to be the only thing I care for as a whole. I don't really care for these, so if you guys want to just go through a few of it, why don't I care about extra things for my coaching points and 25% more XP? Because my coach is going to reach level 100, whether it's in 8 seasons or it's in 12 seasons. He's going to reach it. Why waste points to get there quicker and then have a kind of a botch coach, as we'll call it? And for all you guys who may be skeptical, a lot of you last year sprinted the marathon for your coach to start upgrading everything you saw that you thought sounded cool, and then you had a botch coach and your commissioners ran it 20 seasons to the end of the CFP 25, and here you are wishing you never started that coach. So hopefully you guys watching this do take advantage of the best coaching build, and you can go through these like increased HFA composure penalties. This stuff's cool, but I want things that first off I know work. I can't even like quantifiably prove that I'm getting less composure gains from this or whatever. And then as far as like stuff like leaving and stuff, it's okay. Delay Sunday and stuff was okay, but that's a lot of points to get there, and it is what it is. I do kind of want players drafted at a point because I do want them to give me that bonus that I do get from Talent Developer Tier 1. Gift of Gab, again, pretty decent. I'm not spending the points on this. That's the other thing. There's plenty of good packages in this game. Quite honestly, the bottom 3 here, there's some good stuff. There's some good stuff in Tactician, but I don't like it enough. There's some good stuff in Strategist, and I think there's a world where Strategist is actually good for schools that are 1 to 3 stars, such as lower deal breaker thresholds in tier 3. Why? Because a lot of low schools are going to have a hard time retaining talent this year with dynamic deal breakers and diva players getting like A+ pro potential after they go up to 90, and they don't want to stay at Marshall anymore, a low school, or stay at Army anymore. That's going to be a thing. So I will be making alternate coach builds throughout the year for like maybe super niche small schools or strictly for elite schools, but this is going to be like basically the elite school build and the build that I'm looking to use across the board, which I think is a lot easier than trying to get super niche on things. And of course, Architect, one of my favorite things last year. I do think it took a slight hit for a few reasons. One being it does cost more now in Tactician. You got to spend 50 points in Tactician to unlock it, and I don't want to do that because I don't like Tactician enough. It's hard to get because the rivalry games can be annoying if you're in an online league with custom schedules, not getting rivalry games or losing them. And more importantly, I think Talent Developer just took a huge leap forward this year. Moving on. Our last package. Now, this is where the caveat comes in. I'm going to go through CEO, but stay tuned. There's some more I want to talk about with how this may alter your strategy. So to unlock CEO, it requires 2 national championship wins. This is likely going to be the trickiest, although Elite Recruiter can be pretty hard. This is going to be likely the trickiest of the packages to unlock. If you do have the liberty of unlocking CEO, there are 4 packages I like. Gains Getter. Increase the chance that a player upgrades their dev trait. I love this package because having a star player go to elite or having an impact player go to star is going to be the difference between an elite player and not an elite player. It's going to increase a lot of things. If you can get a freshman to go from star to elite, combine that with Talent Developer where you're getting increased freshman sophomore XP and starting quarterback gain XP like the tier 3, you're going to be cooking with players. You're just gonna be cooking. You're gonna be getting so much XP and you're gonna be able to upgrade players. And what I like about this, I'm gonna call this the skill gap one. So they said that dev traits go up based on playing well with them, Heisman, stats, right? If you're a good player, scoring 50 to 70 points, you're doing your job. Having this package plus Talent Developer is going to put you in a spot to actually outpace other people. CFP 25 actually had, I believe, a skill gap issue with player progression where it was all auto progression. So luck of the draw. What do you get, right? I liked it because it was kind of fun, but near the second half of the year, I was like, okay, so why is, not to be rude, why is the below average player who's 32 out of 32 in our league having a better roster progression in the offseason and during the year than me, who's putting up 70 points a year? It was kind of like 70 points per game. It was kind of like, I wish that was a bit better. I wish there was some more differentiation. And now that you can increase dev traits by actually playing well, your players will get that. Now that dev traits actually correlate to off-season training, that's a big deal because last year it didn't. So elite dev players will actually get more XP in the end of the season training than a normal dev. Last year it was kind of random. I love this. And remember, you can manually upgrade players now. So for me, I want a player that gets to star elite. I want a player that gets the extra XP. And then I want to be able to take that all and manually upgrade my players into demons with high speed, high catch, high throw power, you know, all the above, best abilities. So this is going to be really huge for me. The next one's going to be more the merrier. Increase the number of players you can visit in a week to 8. If you guys have watched my greatest recruiting method in CP26, if you haven't already, after this video, go watch it. It's linked to my CP26 playlist. My method involves a lot of local proximity players based on the new visit bonus, based on our pipeline bonuses. And the only problem with the whole method is, yes, you can bring in players for 10-point visits. If you just cut 2 players and get back 80 to 100 hours, you can put on 8 visits. But the problem is you can only do a max of 4 visits per week. This allows you to do 8. So let's say your schedule calls for a week 2 or week 3 home game and you have all local recruits. You could do 8 visits in 1 week and lock up like half your board. I think that's incredible. More the merrier is a very interesting package for me. And it's not something we need to test. We know it works. It gets you 8 in a week. It just does. Like, you don't have to like hope how much influence it gives you. Next is Dream School. Chance to instant commit when offering scholarship. A lot of people may think of this as a luxury package. I did last year too. But as the year went on, I learned about it a little bit. And really the reason it's a luxury is because CEO is hard to get. But this actually higher the floor and ceiling of your team. And let me tell you why. You need elite recruiter. You need to be top 5. Let's say you have 1,000 hours, and especially let's say you have 1,000 hours, and especially last year, and when you have your recruiting hours up, when you have 80 hours on a recruit with elite recruiter maxed out, you're only gonna be able to get about 12 recruits on your board fully loaded with points. Then you got to drop 2 for visits. So you're only getting 10 recruits at a time. 10 recruits isn't enough for a top 5 class. So then after those 10 recruits, you have to come back, and that's assuming you win all 10. You may only win 7. Then you got to come back and try to nail as many 4 stars as you can, or 3 stars that went unrecruited, to try to get your school into this position to get top 5 versus people who are bringing in 20-25 recruits and did pretty well across the board. Especially when you're fighting for top tier talent, where CEO kind of really kills the game for you, and where it really does its damage is when you start. I used to hate this when you see like Georgia and Clemson week 0, first 5 minutes, they get a dream school, insta recruit 5-star, and they get 4 stars. So right off rip, they have 5 players. So let's just say you bring in those 8 to 10 guys I told you about using your elite recruiting prowess, and you bring in those 8 to 10 guys. You're short on a recruiting class you need. But if you started with 5 guys off rip, cost you no points, just the 5 scholarship points, you bring in 5 guys for a total of 50 scouting points basically. In that first week when all you can do is scout, you bring in 5 guys, 1 5-star, 4 4-stars. You're already ahead of everyone by a ton of points. And then if you kill the game with your elite recruiting prowess, bringing in those other 5 stars and 4 stars, you're going to automatically be a top 5 class. So this makes it so easy to get into the top 5, even if you make a mistake. And then if you just come back and pull up some unrecruited players after, you're looking at a 20-person class of 5 stars and 4 stars. If you don't have this, it makes it a little bit harder, and it does make it hard to always edge out Clemson, Georgia, and all the CEO teams. So Dream School is very big. Also, if you can just lock up 2 5-stars right off rip, or 1 5-star, you're in a huge spot. Some people only bring in 1 per season. You bring in your 1, now you can comfortably bring in 4 more and have an elite class every time. And if all things go to hell, you at least know you got these players. I think it's very cool, and it also pisses people off. My last one, and that's going to be lasting impression. This was the best ability probably in CP 25. Lasting impression was an elite recruiter. It was additional interest for every 10 hours spent. So if you spend 10 points on a recruit, you get a bonus. If you spend 20 points on a recruit, you get 2 bonuses. This year, we're going to start with 50 points. So when you spend 50 points, you get 5 bonuses. Every 10 hours spent gets you a little extra interest. So you get 5 interest bonus. When you get up to 80 hours with tier 4 elite recruiter, and you have this ability, you're going to get 8 individual interest bonuses. That is huge. That is why they moved to CEO. Anyone who watched my channel last year knew I raved about this ability. This is one of the best abilities in the game. You definitely want to make sure you can get this ability. Now, here's where the caveats come. First off, CEO costs you 30 points, right? Let me break out the calculator. It costs you 30 points plus 16 per package at a total of 4 packages. That is 94 points. So I want to make this clear with this build. With this build, I believe we're at 1,013 points. You get 1,000 total points. We are 13 over the threshold right now. So 1 package needs to go off rip. The reason I went through all this is because I do like all of it. but I think one thing needs to go. So you can make, this is where my builds, I always say, are 95% what you need. The other 5% is up to you. So if you come to talent developer and you know that you don't throw the ball, you literally have, you can have a punter at quarterback, all you do is run. Maybe you punt the talent developer quarterback spot. Maybe you punt somewhere else. But honestly, that's up to you. Go through this, see what you do, see what you don't need. Maybe you don't like to recruit running backs, maybe you don't run the ball. Find your extra points that way. It's not many points that you need. But there's 2 caveats to take from here. Caveat 1, there isn't a 100 coaching point pre-order bonus that, let me take you guys to the settings, can be turned on or off. I wonder if I can still see it because we already started the league. Probably, oh, there you go, pre-order bonus. If it's on, you get 100 extra points. 100 extra pre-order bonus points. So you have 110 coaching points, essentially. So you can do this whole build and more. So I'm going to walk you through a few things here. First, if you do have the 100 points, what do? You get all of this, and with the additional 100 that you're going to have, really 100, yeah, you're going to have about 100 or like 90-ish. With the extra 90, I'm going to go and start to fill out these. Like I said, as it stood, we were only going to get up to tier 2. I'm going to then take that extra 100, and I'm probably going to get tier 3 across the board. That's 12 times 7. That puts you at 84. So you could do that and get your tier 3 across the board, and you could stop there. That's where I stop. And whatever, you might have like 5 to 10 points left. Feel free to throw it where you want. That's what I'm doing with the extra points. If I get CEO. You can also then maybe go into recruiter, test something out if you want. That is up to you, program builder. You may be even able to do a few CEO bonuses. Like for me, if I was to do anything else in here, I may throw senior superlatives on there. But this is where it gets fun. That's why I always say follow my build to a 95 percentile. Like that's what I want. The other 5%, do what you want. Because this is where you can get fun because you have the extra 100. Now let's backtrack this. Let's backtrack this 2 ways. You don't get those 100 points. You're going to have to chop something. If you do get those 100 points, you get that and more. Now let's go a whole nother route. Let's be realistic now. Not everyone can get CEO. Not everyone who plays this game can get CEO. If you're in an offline league, 100%. You can just sim it 2 years, give yourself the natty, go from there. That's fine. If you're in an online league that's pretty competitive, you may be the guy. Like, I could be talking to the guy, and like every league has the guy. They have the 2 guys, the guys who win 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. If you're the guy, this build is going to be so ridiculously OP. And let me not even get started on the big game bonus. Look there, big game bonus, 12,500 extra XP for playoff wins. If you can win the first 2 natties and get this package on, if you could speed rush to CEO and get the active perk of CEO, you are actually going to get to level 100 so much quicker than everyone else. But nonetheless, if you're the guy, this is great. If you're like one of the guys that are like can win one here or there, this is still great. You just won't get your CEO for a few seasons. If you're a guy that quite literally has been in your league 10 years and has never won CEO, and I'm probably talking to a few guys in my league, if you're that guy who has never won ever in 10 plus real life years of playing with your guys, CEO's got to go. So right now, as it stands, as we said, CEO is 30 plus 16 times 4. That is 94 points. So let's give yourself 94 points back and assume that you already had that 13 deficit, right? You were already 13 short. So you're left over with about 80 to 90 points-ish, right? 80 to 90 points-ish back is what you're going to have. What can you do with that? So for me, if you don't have the extra 100, I'm taking that extra 80, 90 points, and I'm going to invest in tier 3 for all of these besides kicker punter. So you still get this without CEO. But if you have the 100 bonus, so let's say you have 85 plus 100, now you have 185 without CEO. So if you know you can't do this and you have the bonus, so if you don't have the bonus, take the points off CEO that you were allocating there, upgrade your talent developer to tier 3. If you have the bonus and you're not going CEO, then the thing here you want to do is you have 185 points. I'm upgrading all tier 3s here, and now you have about 100 points to spare. So what do? I don't really think unlocking another one's the smartest thing per se, but if you wanted to, I mean, you can. But remember, this is going to cost you 30 points off rip, so that drops you down to about, after you spend the 84 here, that drops you down to about 100. So this 30 drops you to 70. You, in theory, could go and get a few of these on there. In theory, you could go and get a few of these on there. You could also start experimenting with some of the pipeline, with some of the recruiting stuff here. You could technically get this up to tier 3 if you want the transfers. So this is where you can play around. Me personally, like at first glance, what I'm doing, if I don't have CEO and I have the extra 185 with the 100 pre-order bonus, I'm likely going to look through a few of these things and see if anything's worthwhile to me. And like I said, it wasn't. I may go into tier 4, but I want to test that a little bit more first, the pipeline bonus. But likely, I may end up just bringing this up to tier 3. I may bring this up to tier 3. That way I can get my transfer portal bonus, and then hopefully tier 2 works. And that would be 16 per. 16 times 7 is going to be another 112. So you can't get on all of them, but you can get it on most of them. That's likely what I do. I don't touch anything in Motivator. There's a small world where I come into like Architect for the 30 and try to upgrade a few things here, but it's going to be expensive. I kind of rather just put it into what I have already. I probably end up just going right into Recruiter, or I end up trying to buy a few more of these bottom tier 4 ones. But guys, it's basically the build. So remember, there's a lot going on here. So I hope you stuck with me. The pre-order bonus is gonna play a big role. I imagine a lot of leagues are turning it off, so I'm operating as if you don't have it. So my build with it off, that includes CEO, puts you 13 over. You got to cut something. My build with it on with CEO means you can finish CEO, maybe get an extra packaging like senior superlatives, and finish tier 3 here, or a mix of both. If you aren't going CEO and it's off, you can finish talent developer to tier 3. If you are going without CEO and you have it turned on, the extra 100 points, and you pre-ordered, I'm getting talent developer, and you can have some fun with the extra. If there's a package that you're like, you don't know what you're talking about, dude, this one's so good, you don't know about it, go for it, use it. I applaud you on that. But guys, that basically does wrap up the greatest coach build in Dynasty mode. This is gonna be my build. This is what I'm rocking with in my league. I speak from like experience. I've had the game. This is what I'm doing. This personally is where I'm going with my build. I don't see a world where I go in these routes. I think there is a off-brand like niche build where I think tier 3 here is pretty good for small schools, but I'm not going to make a greatest coach build going over a very small scenario of people who are going to be stuck as a 1 to 2 star school for a while. Because honestly, where this works well is if you're a 1 to 2 star school for like 6 seasons and you're bringing in all these high level recruits. First off, you're probably not bringing in that many high level recruits as 1 to 2 star. Likely you build them up to like a 3-4, then you bring in the high levels, then you go up to a 4-5, and then they stay. So for me, I don't see that being the biggest thing, but if you're like in a low grind, not that great, always stuck in the trenches kind of guy, this may work. I just don't see it being my thing. And now you might be saying, Mind Reader, increased chance to learn dev trait while scouting. That's so huge. Not exactly. So last year, Mind Reader would have been so good because last year you knew nothing and dev traits didn't change. So let's say you're recruiting 3 quarterbacks. You can't see what they are. 1 was elite, 2 were impact, or 1 was impact, 1 was normal. If you recruited that normal one, bust. Impact 1 is a 5-star, kind of a bust. Elite 1, crazy fine. Green gem, elite quarterback, 5-star. So Mind Reader would have been huge because I could have seen which of the 3 were which, and I could have went all in on one, especially when you have to choose. First off, you don't always get to choose. Sometimes it's very clear. Those 2 quarterbacks, I'm going to win. That one I'm going to lose. So sometimes you don't get to choose anyways. But more importantly, Mind Reader is a chance of working. That's another thing. It doesn't always work. So you have to spend 48 points to get there, and it may work. And let's go a step further. You can upgrade dev traits. So last year you couldn't upgrade them. So it was monumental that I brought in the elite dev quarterback and the starter quarterback. This year, okay, fine, I bring in an impact dev quarterback. I just have an elite season with him. He goes up to star. I get that CEO package, or even if I don't, he goes up to star maybe. Now I'm happy with him. So not only did dev traits go down in importance just a tad, while they did make them more important in the offseason, I trust my ability as a good to great player to actually upgrade them. Other people, if you're not that great at the game, this could help you a little bit, but I assume there's also a world where they maybe go backwards. I'm just saying. So I personally lost some value in it a little bit, and more importantly, you have to get down to tier 4. 48 so expensive on all these. 48 times 7 is going to put you in like a 300 point spend on this. This is kind of insane to lose all the XP you're going to get to build players here. I can't justify it. Architect is still really good. I just think having to spend in Tactician bothers me. This requires me to spend in Recruiter and Motivator, which is exactly what I intend to do, so it doesn't really cost me anything. It's almost like a net 0 loss gain here. It's kind of perfect for me. But guys, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have anything else to add or any kind of caveats, things you want to throw it, please comment down below. Any questions that are about this game in general, maybe not coaching packages, let me know down below. Can we get 500 likes in this video? You guys always kill the like button. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could drop 500 likes in this video. And of course, if you haven't heard, check out poodlecfp.com. Code KICKOFF, all caps, get you $50 off the annual plan. Code KICKOFF 2025 gets you $5 off the monthly plan. A lot of what I do, guys, all the testing, the labbing, the data, the science, everything you guys applaud, a lot of it comes from what we do over on poodlecfp.com. Get in, you know everything early, you know all the tips and tricks, all the glitches, you'll dominate your leagues, you'll be accused of cheating. Highly recommend it. You won't want to miss it, and of course, you get grandfathered into your deal. You really can't beat that. Come join hundreds of other members just like yourselves who are ready to dominate your league. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.